p.m. here in Accra, Ghana. Good evening and welcome to News Tonight here on GHOne Television. We are live from our studios at the Platinum Place, North Ridge here in Accra. Also live on Facebook, on YouTube and on X at GHOne TV. Here's what to expect in the next hour. Haruna Iddrisu unhappy about his nomination as Education Minister.
We expected to appoint as Trade Ministry.
Details as Nagrat urges the minister designate to widely consult. Stakeholders in decision making if approved. Women make up 28% of President Mahama's nominations so far. We analyze this and look at what impact this is likely to make. In business this evening, ECG operates 84 bank accounts with 20 banks contrary to IMF directive to maintain a single bank account for all revenue. Welcome back to the bulletin. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah, grateful for your company. Let's begin with Insight. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has made more ministerial nominations, bringing the total number to 25. The appointment of Tamale South MP Haruna Iddrisu as Education Minister Designate has left many surprised and his supporters unhappy. His nomination is not necessarily a surprise, but the ministry he's heading to never came up in conversations about his lawyer, a business magnate, and is also a leader with extensive experience in Ghana's parliament. Now, talking about the roles that Haruna Iddrisu has held, we know deputy ranking member, majority leader, minority leader, all these under the Fourth Republic. Now, he's also served as Minister for Employment and Labor Relations and also Minister for Communications. He has a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Ghana and is also a barrister at law and a member of the Ghana Bar Association since 2002. So that's the man Haruna Iddrisu, very vocal in Parliament and also has some strong stance when it comes to topical issues. And you would then understand why some of his supporters from his constituency believe that, well, he should have rather been appointed as the Defense Minister, Trade Minister, Interior Minister. But what about the Education Ministry? Do they find or do they think that Haruna Iddrisu, does not qualify for? Because we've known that the man also has served as Minister of Employment and Labor Relations. There are conversations that, well, looking at the numerous challenges that have plagued the education sector, that is why we are seeing the man Haruna Iddrisu heading to the Education Ministry. Abdul Wahab is a reporter in the northern region. He's joined us on the phone lines to throw more light on the concerns of constituents in the Tamale South constituency on the appointment of Haruna Iddrisu. So, Wahab, thank you so much for joining us. So, really, what are their major concerns?
The concerns here is that they actually surprised for the jubilation, and we actually expected that the House of Leaders will be taken to the defense military or freedom industry. But they are kind of surprised why the former president has taken him to the education ministry. The concern is that actually their issue is that they believe that there are so many people around here that they believe that if the minority leader has this region, he knows what is happening in this area. So even who the defense minister would have helped him able to tackle these issues to solve them amicably. But equally, they are saying that in a context that in a military, because because of the experience of the minority leader, they are saying that he's able to deliver very well because he's been able to handle several ministries, talking of the industrial minister and communication minister. So with this experience, we believe that all the contractors are not happy. They believe that he'll be able to deliver in this particular ministry.
And so, Wahab, how are they planning to basically escalate this, to have their concerns addressed? Because as it stands now, John Mahama has already named the nominee.
Yeah, so there was a rumor that just prior to the appointment, the announcement of this particular appointment, there was a rumor that people are gathering to protest. But later on, when we checked, it was not true. So we took the executive of the Congress National Council, and they said that they have no intentions to test what they are saying are just speculations, and they believe that those speculations were coming from their opponents, that is the NCP, and they are saying that even the country they are not happy with the ministry that has been going to the former minority leader. And they are okay. They believe that he's able to deliver. They don't have any intention to take it.
Abdul Wahab Yimza, thank you so much for bringing us updates from Tamale. But still talking about the former minority leader, who is also a former communications minister, between 2009 and 2013. Senior high schools, infrastructural challenges resulting in the double track system, among others. Now, another is the occasional strikes by various unions in the sector. Even before he is approved, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRATS, is urging the minister-designate to consult stakeholders in decision-making if he's approved. But let's speak to the Executive Director of the Institute for Educational Studies, IFES. Doctor, do you see this coming?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers and listeners. No, I didn't. The Honorable Haruna Iddrisu to be given this particular portfolio.
So, looking at Haruna Iddrisu heading to the ministry, I remember speaking to you earlier, a few days back, on who you think should be the education minister. You mentioned that should be someone that would engage more, among others. Does Haruna Iddrisu fit that profile for you?
Yes. If you look at the kind of work that is done in the country in terms of a political portfolio, I think that he's someone who listens. I think that he's someone who's got a lot of experience, and I think that he's someone who's got a considerable good human relations. So I think he fits into the kind of person who can believe that he will be able to bring his experience to bear in the sector. You know that he has been a minister of labor and I think employment and labor relations before. Mm-hmm. And you know that in our sector, experience to bear in relation to linking academia to industry. So we are expectant, and we are hoping that he will be able to help transform the education sector that we experience now.
Thank you so much for your insight there. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has appointed 7 women out of the 25 ministerial appointments announced so far. 12 ministers of state, 13 regional ministers. Now, out of these, 18 men and 7 women, representing 28%, have been nominated. So there's been concerns about the passage of the affirmative action bill and then what it portends for successive governments. Now, this is a test case for John Dramani Mahama because he becomes president after the passage of the bill. And to help me with a discussion on how we have women representation and so far how it's gone is the convener for the affirmative action bill coalition, Madam Sheila Menka Promo. She's joined me. Sheila.
There should be some kind of gender balance. It should be, because women are sort of lower in numbers, so the gender balance would be the increase in the numbers of women. The other thing I would also say is that if you look at the profile of the women appointed so far, they appear to be very well educated and very well qualified.
Right.
You know, I know that when it comes to affirmative action, people sometimes fear that you're going to put unqualified people at places where they are not likely to be able to perform. From the profiles I've seen so far, they all seem to be well educated, at least a minimum of first degrees for most of them. Quite a number of them have second degrees and have specialization in certain areas. So for me,
for gender, children and social protection. I know that through NDC MPP you've been doing work with that ministry. Now let's look at the woman who has been now nominated to head that ministry, Na Momo Lati, doctor.
Thank you very much. So Honorable Dr. Namomo Lati, with a very well qualified woman. I have had the privilege of meeting her, particularly in some of the work we do in Parliament, in following up on this affirmative action gender equity bill, for instance. She was on the Gender and Children Committee, so she's one of the ones that she is also in sort of gender-related issues as much as I think local governance as well. Exactly. So I believe she has a lot of experience. If you also look at places where she's worked, the institutional representation, etc., she would have to come and follow up on that as well to make sure that it is set up as early as possible,
right, so
that they will start running.
Okay.
One of the things that this Gender Equity Committee, which will be placed at her ministry, would be to, undertake almost like come up with a plan of action. Okay. And the plan of action necessarily would have to include getting baseline information on where the various sectors are. This law applies to the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. There are indicators at the back which measures progress.
Right.
Every year to see how far a particular sector is. To be able to do that, you need to know where each sector is starting from.
Okay.
So one of the things that once the GEC is constituted, they have to look for resources to do is build some kind of a database system and undertake a little study to know where each sector is generally.
Right.
So that when it comes to monitoring and like a bill, proposals for a bill, a lot of consultations done and proposals have been put together. So that is those are few.
Well, thank you so much, Sheila Meka Premo, for your insight there. That's the convener of the Affirmative Action Bill Coalition there. You're still watching News Tonight here on GHOne television. Let's do some more stories now. And parents of students at the Kwashiman cluster of schools are worried about the introduction of a shift system following a devastating fire that destroyed parts of the school during the December 7th general election. Now,
to run a shift system. Parents told the news condition of anonymity say they have also been affected by the current development because they have to rush through the day's teaching activities, especially for the morning shift.
The time is too short for us to come to school. We have to come to school before 7 o'clock. So the teachers put pressure on us for the other schools to come. 3. Every time I see that band place and I'm very scared.
Now they close at 5. So when they are going, it's difficult for them to board the car because nowadays it's difficult for them to board the car because from 5 going, the cars won't be going to every place. So for the primary, it's really difficult for them.
Meanwhile, students are calling on the government and stakeholders to come to their aid. School authorities refuse to speak on the matter at the time of our visit.
It is part
an amazing year, but I believe 2025 is going to be
Well, let's pay attention to some business stories and an audit report on the Electricity Company of Ghana's revenue collection accounts has revealed instances of under-declaration of revenue and misreporting. Now, the audit sanctioned by the Ministry of Energy and carried out by PwC on the last quarter of 2023 showed the ECG failed to declare over 1 billion cedis of monies present in its bank statement to the PURC and players in the energy space. Now, the rippling effect of these under declaration was a corresponding underpayment to independent power producers, and some of the key findings will be on your screen shortly, where we are told that the ECG under-declared 567.53 million cedis between CWM and the ECG cash settlement platform report, and also under-declaration of 604.82 million cedis between CWM and the ECG revenue collection sheet. Now, what we are also being told is that some 1.14 billion cedis in total under-declared when the cash waterfall mechanism is compared to the amounts validated per the bank statements, and the amounts keep compounded with 136.74 million paid out for emergency fuel to fuel supplier. Now, where it gets more shocking is the fact that ECG currently operates 84 bank accounts with 20 different banks, contrary to directive to maintain a single collection bank account for all revenue. And then also deductions of 303.48 million cedis as tax offsets with no supporting evidence or rationale to do so. And these were all found in that famous PwC report. According to the report, these are some of the things that the ECG was found complicit in: revenue under declaration, misreporting, opening numerals, among others. Well, let's get on Zoom now and have a conversation on these findings, among others. Dr. Samuel Nyama has joined me. Doc, thank you so much for joining me this evening. So, all of this revelations to you as a surprise, looking at how the ECG has performed over the years.
All right, thanks so much for having me. And serious management know-how based upon advice from PURC. So, are we saying that ECG is not taking any advice and directive from PURC? Are they doing things on their own without any checks and balances? Where is the board of ECG? Where is the Minister for Energy? These are questions that needs to be answered. But we can't keep on doing the same thing and expect a different results. It's privatization into the operations of ECG. So AIES, which is African Institute of Energy and Sustainability, which I'm the executive director, we welcome the announcement by the Minister Designate for Energy when he said that they may privatize ECG, but we don't support full privatization of the ECG.
So if you do not support full privatization, how should we go about it so that we get to reap the right benefits?
And by so doing, I can assure you, these issues of ECG having so many accounts, this issue of ECG every day in the news will be a thing of the past. We cannot keep on doing what we're doing. And this recommendation that we are putting forward to the government, if it is taken, I can assure you, are not paying the right amount of money for the powers they are using. But when you put this in the hands of a private person or private company, I can assure you, because they've made so much investment upfront, whatever they will do to ensure that they get their money, they will do that. And that is what we have to do. And then it will also give consumers the opportunity to choose which company they want to buy their power from. And that is what, when you go to the UK, that is what they do. And that is what established economists, that is what they do. This will take huge burden
off of the ECG.
At the same time, ensure that consumers.
A government directive to relocate traders and businesses. This deserted space was once a home to onion traders, scrap dealers, plastic recyclers, Kantanka company, slaughterhouses, and bus stations. The relocation was to clear the parcel of land for the construction of a health facility as part of the Agenda 111 project. Chairman of the Scrap Dealers Association, Komla Suale, believes the land's potential is far from lost. Speaking to GHOne, he explained why the association is pushing for a second chance.
Government came. I'll say our government came. But we are not here because it's our government. We are here because we've been evicted without making good use of the land. So we are in here now, but we are back here to rebuild our businesses, waiting to hear from the new government, which is the NDC. If the proposal that has removed us from here is in good plans of the current government, I mean the NDC. I think they will even handle us better than the MPP for us to move out from here.
Other members of the association also voiced their concerns, sharing the daily struggles they face as a result of the relocation.
If the scrap dealers come back here, it did.
Within the abandoned market, the old
I apologize for that. Now, Black Stars and LA Galaxy winger Joseph Pencil has expressed his belief in God's call to become a prophet after his football career. The Black Stars winger shared that his spiritual journey began at a young age, noting that worship has always been an integral part of his family's life, shaping his path both on and off the field.
It started at a young age. I was really doing worship. I do worship in my the family because my mom also sings. My big brother also is a gospel musician, Charles Spencer. So it's something that's run through the family. My twin sister also really sings really good. So it's really in the family. And my strong thing about me is about worship. Whenever I worship, I always feel worship, and I don't joke with worship. It's really a weapon for me. So it has been part of me since I was a child, and so now I'm still focusing and trying to make some moves, especially with a whole lot of artists, just also to be recognized. But it's not going to be like, let's say, something that I want to do in the future. I just want to be a prophet, or maybe when God calls me, I just want to preach the gospel at the end of my career, if I'm being called.
Now do catch the full interview here on GHOne TV tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Now, further, Ghanaian-born Niger striker Daniel Sosa has shared his ambitions for the 2024-25 season, focusing on his goal to score more goals for both club and country. Additionally, the forward addressed concerns regarding the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, highlighting that the league authorities have robust procedures in place to manage any potential challenges stemming from the situation, ensuring smooth operations and player safety.
Club, I need to score more goals, And we are now getting our team back, So I think some couple of years, and also be among the best team in Africa also. That's what I share. With a couple of years, they will do very well, and be among the best African team also. Doesn't affect much, because if we are playing every year like alarm, then we'll stop the match and we will go to a safest place to, after sometimes it goes off, then we come back and continue playing.
And that's all for sports. My name is Monica Bukari. Joshua, I hope tomorrow you make time and then you watch our interview with Black Stars player Joseph Pensel.
Definitely, Monica. I mean, I cannot miss it, especially the worship session.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for bringing us sports. Let's look at GHOne now. On to